Are we doing this?
Oh yeah, we're doing this. We're live. So thanks, Dennis, for joining me on
Oh,
this
good Lord.
this podcast segment. So we were talking about the Master Grade Unicorn that just came out and why you should not buy it. So did I convince you? Did I
No.
convince you to not buy? No. Okay. So here's what we went through so far. So I think you should not buy it if you want to have your model kit in a standing pose, right? If you want to have your model kit in a standing pose, the Master Grade Unicorn Extreme that just came out is not your ticket. If you don't have a lot of shelf space, you should not buy the Master Grade Unicorn because you need to have it on that giant action base in order for you to get your full utility, right?
Right.
And then if for some reason you have the shelf space and you're okay with it in its deactive mode and you're okay changing out the batteries each and every time so that you can maintain that green psycho frame, because remember, you can get a non-LED version that has the green psycho frame that can just stay there and that you don't have to pay the additional cost for the batteries and all that. If you still are not convinced, then remember that this is not a P Bandai. And remember that's a regular release kit. That means it's going to apply for all the discounts that you'll see at, like, I don't know, Joann's or Hobby Lobby or at Barnes & Noble, or you might even see it at the next Bluefin sale, right? Or HLJ sales or things like that, because the Unicorn is a very popular kit. So it's going to be around for a really long time. You can still find the original Unicorn Master Grade on sale. You can still find the original Full Armor Unicorn Gundam Master Grade on sale, even if they have the real grade one on sale.
Yeah, well, I don't plan to buy it right now, right? If I find the price to be good,
right? Yeah,
maybe it's worth it. But I don't think that just because something that's extremely good and then you should get it when it first come out. I don't believe in American priced Gunpla and to begin with, because I've been buying Gunpla from Asia for the longest time. That's like at least 15 to 20% off. Like what is it? I think my Perfect Grade Exia with all of the lights stuff, it came out to be, I think, $250. Basically, it was at least $100 lower. Yeah. At least $100 lower than what is selling here. So,
right,
yeah,
that's way cheaper than you would find it anywhere here, even with discounts, right? Because most places will give you like a 20% discount at most for a Perfect Grade, and that just doesn't compare. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to Asia anytime soon, yeah, go ahead and pick it up if you want.
No, I was just telling my friend to pick it up for me, and then hopefully she'll just bring it over, and then the kid is just gonna sit there and collect very thick dust later.
See, that's the other thing. Like, now we're gonna get into the issue of like backlogs. So, I personally think that you should build the stuff that you have first, and especially if it's not a P Bandai kit, you'll just wait, right? But if you're noticing that your backlog is outweighing the number of kits that you've actually built in a year, then you either should probably slow down or reconsider that maybe you're just not into the hobby as much as you thought you were anymore.
You know how much backlog I had.
Yes, I do. And let's be clear. I'm probably offending a lot of people by saying this because I'm sure a lot of people have tons of backlog. But yeah, I'd say reconsider, because I know for your case, you're kind of more into watches now, more than Gunpla.
Yeah, it's a different kind of spending. It's very different. So
yeah, but it's not a bad thing.
I mean, watch is an investment. I'm not trying to say that Gunpla is not. I think that anything that's not a P Bandai, that's not collectible, is not. You just depreciate your cash. Well, actually not even cash, because it's just sitting there. So anyway, that's another topic that's definitely another topic. I just don't think, I think through COVID, I sold about over half of my backlog.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Yeah. So I still have over 30 some. I was in probably not 30 some, probably combination of giving it away. I probably sold over like maybe 30 to 40 kits.
Wow.
It's a lot, right? Like it's a lot. I'm just like, here, I gave it to my previous boss, like, hey, your kids want to build some Gundam kits here. Here's a bear guy. Here, go have it. So,
Yeah, I mean, you unloaded some kits to me too. Actually, I have a fair amount of kits from you. You gave me the Rebao a long time ago, before you went up to the Bay Area, and then you gave me the Banshee Norn.
Banshee Norn, and then
you gave me the
G40.
Yeah, you just gave me a G40 too. So I mean, thank you very much for that. I still
have a wedding gift. So
yeah, so thank you so much for that too. I don't know if I'm actually going to build that one because like it just looks so nice in the box that
the box is beautiful. So for anyone who has not had a chance to actually get it, they should. It's definitely collectible. I'm not sure. Like, did they do a re-release on that one?
Not as far as I know.
No, really?
And and I don't even think it's a regular release kit. They never said it was supposed to be limited edition, so it's still kind of up in the air. You give it a year. Give it a year and we'll find out whether or not it actually
maybe
is.
Make the box cheaper. The box itself probably costs like $2 more.
Yeah, it's a really nice box. Like it's like has silver plating and stuff on it, and it's very nice and glossy. The finish is really fantastic.
Yeah, it's like
matte
finish, right? It's not just a print.
Yeah, I haven't taken out of the bubble wrap yet. It's still in the bubble wrap. Yeah, I was like, wow, this is so nice. I'm not gonna take it out, man.
You gotta pass on to your kids.
Maybe it'll be an heirloom.
By the way,
like, what the heck is this?
G40, baby, G40.
Yeah.
All right, I think that like while we're on the topic, I suggested a very interesting topic in terms of if we can only keep one kit at a time, basically at any given time that you have to make the decision of just keeping one kit. And if you want to get a new one, you have to replace the current one immediately. Maybe we'll do it in a way where it's like, like if you have to pick one kit for a specific amount of time, what would that be? Right? Maybe it's aesthetics, maybe it's engineering. Like, how should we start this discussion? I think that it can be like maybe from 2010 like to 2015. Or
so I'll answer your initial question first. With a thought experiment, like the answer to the thought experiment. I believe that the natural progression for anybody is a perfect grade or the most expensive kit that you can get. Because say you have nothing, right? And you're always constantly wanting to upgrade like a house or like a car. You're always going to want to get the next best thing. And we already know that the end of that next best thing line would be like a perfect grade, a metal build, or like the metal structure, the $1,000 Gundam kit.
Yeah, let's only stick to high grade, real grade. Basically, all of the plastic kits, the RE kits are fine. The high res?
Yeah,
the high res counts too. Not anything that's already a figure. Those doesn't count, right? Like those are more collectibles. But yeah, I mean, if you want to add that in, I don't have experience with those.
Because that would be my honest answer to that question. Is that if I could only have one and I had to constantly trade up, that kind of thing, it would eventually be like the high metal structure. Or actually, you know what it would be? It would be that $2,000 high grade kit that's made of Gundarium alloy.
Which is not Gundarium. I think it's more...
It's it's some metal alloy composite thing that they supposedly concocted.
How about this? Maybe we'll do it in a way where it's like, if you can only do one HG, one RG, one MG from the time frame of 2010 to present. And I guess
Okay.
you can also do a perfect grade, but perfect grade, you will just have the entire range because they only release so much perfect grade.
Okay, so basically your question's boiling down to, what is your favorite thing of each? Like, if you could only have one of each line, what would it be?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe that'll be a little bit more reasonable. Because
Okay.
because I do agree with you, right? Like, for some people, there is kind of like the grail, right? Like the grail is I want to have I don't know, my grail was always a perfect grade win zero. And I got my win zero and I don't have it, and it's just sitting there. It's literally still sitting there under my bed.
Oh yeah, I think I saw it last time.
It is still sitting there under my bed, right? But I think I'm a little bit different because I don't think my progression will always be just ending with perfect grade. I have my own thoughts about perfect grade. I think it's cool to have one, but from a engineering perspective, it's like I probably wouldn't want it, right? Because there's so much gap between each model kit development.
I feel the same way too. I'm happy. I'm incredibly happy to have the perfect grades that I have, but I don't think I would ever want to get another one. I'm done with. Well, for me, it doesn't fulfill all the things that I like about model kits, which is more the customization aspect. I think it's too big. I think you can put into many poses, and those are already 3 huge strikes for me, and we're not even talking about cost yet. So for me, I'm really happy that I have a perfect grade. That way I can show people like this is what a perfect grade is. For people who don't have it, they can see it, they can look at it, and if it's something that they like to get, then yeah, sure, go for it. Go get yourself 5 perfect grades for all I care. But I think for me, now that I've built one or built 2, I know that it's not what I particularly want in the model kit. So perfect grades are going to be an easy thing or easy selection for me. The high grades, the real grades, are going to be the tougher selections for me.
Of course,
I think,
yeah,
to be honest.
For the past 10 years, there has been so much improvements, and I'll even say there are a lot of good like older kits that you'll be like, I don't know, man. I really like this series, but the engineering is not as good.
Yeah.
And now you're fighting your like, emotional attachment to this kit.
Yeah, the familiarity and biases.
That's extremely hard.
So this is going to be hard too, because I treat model kits very differently too, like in terms of like cost per utility. So
sure. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's free for you to pick, right? Like,
yeah. And so this might be a little bit different for you because I think you side more on the engineering side of the kit. I side more on how long will this, like, can I stretch my dollar for? Like, say if I bought like a $10 kit, I would be much more happy with a $10 kit that I can work on for a very, very, very long time. Because then I stretch out those $10, within that span of time, compared to like a master grade that I would build, but it'll only take me like 3 hours or like 5 hours. And then
you think very differently.
Yeah, so I think very differently. So my choice is going to be very, very differently. So why don't you go first?
Why don't you go first? All right, so let me see. So
what pool do we have to work with?
2010 HG. So let me see 2010 high grades. I'm not sure what series, like I'm in 2010, what series started during that time?
Well, 2010 high grades, you can probably actually just go.
I would say double
O's
is during that time, so that's a good time frame.
Well, you can actually just type in high grade Gundam 2010, and I'll pull up the Gundam wiki. And that will actually show you all the kits that came out during that time frame.
Good Lord, it's so much. Oh my God.
It should anyway.
Oh my God, this is a lot. Let me see. So we only consider the 1 to 144 scale, right? Like not the older, the 1 to 100 doesn't count. So let's, it doesn't say.
So there's definitely the HGUC line, and then let's see here. High grade build fighters line was also 2010.
Yes, I remember that. So 2010.
Or high grade, not build fighters, but Gunpla builders line.
Okay, build fighters came after that.
It was 2014.
That's when we started the club.
Yeah, you might. Okay, so 2010. So Gundam 00 might fall into that because Gundam Age came out, and then after that it was 2011.
All right, high grade. Ooh,
high grade 2010. I don't know. Let me see. So I guess, are we picking each, or are we doing? Or are we going to come to a consensus?
We're doing each.
Like,
I mean, I don't think mine is going to be the same as yours, because sometimes I just think, yeah, it's very different. So
okay, that's fair.
me see. So HGUC Sazabi. That's probably one of them. I'll pick some of the ones that I already think is very good. So HG Sazabi is one of them. HGUC. I definitely don't want to say Unicorn, because those Unicorn HG has a lot of problems. I would say the double kits. I would say probably Double Riser.
Double Riser came out in 2010.
Is it Double Riser with the GN Sword 3? Which one is that?
Yes.
2 out.
Oh, so yeah, there's only 2 that came out in 2010. This is Susanoo Trans Am mode, and then the Reborn's Gundam Trans Am mode. Those are both gloss injections that came out in January.
So Double Riser and the GN Sword 3 is not in there.
Yeah, so it doesn't count.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Like Robert 184 has a review on January 15th.
Yeah, dude, I'll send you the thing in the chat. Here.
Damn it.
There you go.
No. No.
Okay, so I'm going to go down. I'll go down the list from what I see. So there's the Rizel, the Stark Jagan, the Zaku 2 F2 Xeon version, the Loto set, the Zaku 2 F2 Earth Federation version, the Rizel Commander type, the Gundam X, the God Gundam, the Double Zeta Gundam, the Gira Zulu Angelo Sopper version. There is the Jim Type C, Twin Ball set, Delta Plus, Sinanju, Goof Custom, and the Gundam X Divider. That's for the HGUC line. Then for the high-grade Gunpla Builders line, there's the Beginning Gundam, the High New Gundam GPB Color, and then the Super Custom Zaku F2000. Oh, and the Bear Guy. And then, like I said before, the Gundam 00 kits that came out that year, 2010, would be Susanoo and the Reborn's Gundam Trans Am mode. I mean, for me, I think I kind of have some picks I know that really stick out. I know the Stark Jagan was really popular as a model kit. The Zaku 2 F2, like any of them, the Earth Federation version or the regular Xeon version, I've heard very good things about. The Loto, I've had my eyes on that for a very long time. The Gundam X is also, I think this is the first kit to be released from the afterwar. I think out of this entire year that we're talking about, this is the only model kit that I actually own from this year. There's also the twin ball set.
For a year is gonna take a long time, dude.
Yeah, but I know the Sinanju was also very popular in this set. And then the Goof Custom. The Goof Custom is still being sold nowadays, like very regularly.
Goof Custom is from 2010?
Yeah, 2010 November.
Oh,
1600 yen. Nothing from high grade build Gunpla builders. Because the beginning Gundam, I think, was a good kit, but you could get all the same stuff from the beginning 30th Gundam, and then the 00 Gundam stuff. I don't really see these being too popular. I see the regular forms being very popular, but not the gloss injected color variations, not the Trans
we're
Am
not
stuff.
Talk about the color variation. Those are the same kits. So I don't know about all of the kits that has been released for the past like maybe 3-4 years. I have some ideas. I think a lot of them is just variants of build divers and basically all the spin-off and rip-offs of the original Gundams, Gundam designs. But something that you something that you brought up, right? Like there is the HGUC Suzabi, there is the HGUC Shinanju, HGUC Goof Custom. That's actually one of my favorite. Double X. I never built an X or X divider, but I built the build fighter version. I really liked it. I would say these are probably like, if I were to choose from the older kid from those time frame that I know of, those are probably the ones that I will pick from. Except it's hard, right? Except it's hard.
Yeah, it really depends on like what you want to go for. So like the Gundam X was really interesting to me because it was the very, very first one from the afterwar timeline. So if you wanted to get that Gundam in like new technology, you had to get this kit. And it was actually a pretty cool kit. But it was like a subpar kit. Like I think it relied a lot on nostalgia in order for it to be good. The stickers were really fantastic looking, but all in all, it was a very simple kit. It didn't really bring anything engineering wise to the table. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I think the Loto and the twin ball set were actually really cool concepts because you could build two. So if you had a friend who just didn't know about Gundam stuff, you could buy that set and be like, hey, do you want to build together? Right? And then the Loto set was a fully transformable suit, but it was very small. It was like half the size of a Gundam. And so technologically, I thought that the Loto model kits were really, really cool. And it was also the first HGUC set to be released as 2 individual mobile suit units. But yeah, I don't know. I think if I were to do my purchases again, I would probably get the Loto set for this year.
Hey, sorry to cut you out. Are you like showing like a different screen that you're looking through these kits?
No, but I can do that. So,
yeah, that'd be great.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, and then you can just put your head somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's recording me still on this side, but yeah, so here we go. This is the HGUC quote unquote set that we're kind of looking at because it also includes like other after colony stuff as well. But yeah, the Rizel, the Stark Jagan, the F2, the Loto, the other version of the F2, the Rizel. So you got like 2 basically versions of the Rizel coming out that year. You had 2 versions of the Double X that came out that year. You have the God Gundam, the Double Zeta, the Gira Zulu, Gym Type C, Ball, Delta Plus, Sinanju, Goof Custom, and then the Divider. So for me, I think I would probably go with the Loto as my pick.
Your choices are so weird, but I can't understand.
Yeah, no, it's okay. My choices are a little odd. The justification for that would be I'm not a huge fan of the Jagans, to be honest, and I think they're very simple molds. So if you had an affinity or like you had a familiarity to the Jagans, there you go. It's the same thing for like the Zaku's. These are actually very detailed and very nice molds, but because we have better Zaku variations nowadays, then these are not really they don't really stand the test of time. The same thing with the Jagans. They kind of like recreate new Jagans. You have like Ecowas types and like P Bandai types. The Loto you don't really see is a very unique kit, and you don't really see that too often, or at all actually. And then the Gundam X, I think it wasn't as great as what it could have been. I don't know. When I had it, I thought it was kind of cool. I could put it to one pose. It had what I needed, but I just didn't feel excitement, The God Gundam is kind of cool, but I've also seen it being very simple in its construction. So again, not really bringing anything to the table. I think for me, the Double Zeta Gundam is a very close contender, but the price point is a little iffy for me. And I know that any main suit is going to get like an iteration in real grade form. So I've actually been waiting for a real grade Double Zeta Gundam since 2010.
That will actually be a pretty cool iteration for that.
Right? So like my rule is just never getting any of the high grade main suits. Just wait for the real grades to come out, because they will come out eventually.
I also have a feeling, for the HG like kits, at least for the HG UC types of kits, anything that's not from the UC, I feel like their constructions are a lot simpler. Like there's not much engineering. But when you're talking about looking at Sinanju, looking at Sazabi, you're like, okay, these are Sazabi, they already released one, so now this is a redesign. So I actually haven't put one together yet, but I know that it is one of the highest rated kits for HGUC, just because there's so much more improvement, and it's like anime accurate, but with a little bit of that modern twist of the proportions. So really nice. So if I really had to pick something from like 2010 and beyond, at least to my knowledge right now, I'm counting like Iron Blood Orphan or something like that, or like the Divers, because I think that the HGUC line is just such a strong. It is very strong in terms of its design and engineering,
right?
Compared to other series. I feel like other series, like they have gimmicks, and it's just that like those gimmicks just gets pretty old. So, so if I had to put my money on it, it's probably gonna be the HGUC Sazabi.
There is no Sazabi for this year, though.
Yeah, I know, not for this year, but I'm just talking about.
Oh yeah, for just like in general, like HGUCs.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I wouldn't pick anyone from here, because I will not, like, maybe the Groove Custom. That's it. But I also know that the Groove Custom has its own issues, but it's I would say it's one of the most, like, the coolest kit that I built. But it's sort of just stand there.
Yeah. Oh wait, are you just talking? I thought we were supposed to pick one from each year.
Sure, we can.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's why I chose. That's why I chose the Loto, because I thought we were doing one from like 2010 up until 2020 kind of deal. But okay, yeah. For my 2010 pick, it would be the Loto. But if I were to choose any of these kits from 2010 as like my number one HG, it wouldn't be any of these. I don't think.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
2011 it is. Let's quickly go through this.
Oh,
The Noble Gundam. Yeah.
Noble Gundam. There's Noble Gundam, Jim Custom, Extreme Gundam, Gira Zulu, another Jagan. There we go. Drayson, Jim Cannon 2, Jim 3, Shining Gundam, Master Gundam, another Noble Gundam variation, Jesta, Jim 2, Z Zulu, Draw C.
None of this.
Yeah, none of these.
I
None of these would. I don't think I even purchased anything from this year at all. I don't think I have anything from this year.
No,
I think
none of that.
Oh, but 2011 was also the year of Age.
Oh God, dude, that's hard.
So then, so you had 2011, you had Age 1, Normal, then you had the Gaffran, the Genoese Custom, Titus, Zetus, Spallo. Oh, sorry. That's 2011. Oh, wait. We're on 2011. So, yeah. Wow, a lot of these kits came out in 2011. Spallo, Bacto, G-Exis, and then we end. So, basically, Season 1, all the Season 1 model kits came out 2011.
Oh, that's rough.
I personally did not buy any of these 2011. I actually don't have any.
I actually bought a lot.
You bought a lot?
I bought a lot. I think I probably bought like a third of the kits over there.
Oh my gosh. So I guess if I were to choose one for 2011, I think my pick would actually be the Age 1 Normal, now that I'm looking at this list again for the HGUCs. I mean, these are really cool designs. Like, I know a lot of people like the Jesta and the Noble Gundam, and people are going to kill me for not recommending the Shining Gundam, but I don't really care
I build a Shiny Gundam, I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Like, basically you have to put the toes out, and then you have to clip it, and then it falls out very easily. So either you keep it as, at the burst mode, or you don't keep it as a burst mode. My choice will also be the Age 1 Normal, because I think that it stayed very true to a throwback to the original Gundam. And I actually think that the Age 1 kits are also good, as long like the Age 1 Gundam kits are so good, except for the Gaffrons. The Gaffrons is just crap. So
no, they're terrible. I don't like them at all. And I think this was the first time when I bought a model kit and I was like, wow, the articulation's really good. Like, so you went from Gundam X, or I went from Gundam X to looking at the Age kits, and I was like, wow, these are like way cheaper, because these are like, $1,200 yen, $12, $10 sometimes. And they had amazing articulation. They had ball joints for the shoulders. They had 180 degrees of bend for the elbows and for the legs. And then the feet were super solid. The design looked really good and really cool. And it had really simple armaments. Like, even the rifle, I thought the rifle designs were really cool because it actually locked into the forearm and actually stayed in place. So if you wanted to play around with it, you want to move it around, it could do the poses that you wanted, and it could stay in the pose that you wanted.
Yep.
So that's definitely
looks like we have our agreement.
Yeah, cool. H1 Normal.
I'm gonna take notes right here, just just so like when we come back to like, okay, if you had to pick one out of all of these after each year.
Yeah, sure.
Would it be?
So you had nothing for 2010, and I think I put Loto down.
No. 2010 I will probably put 2010 will be between Goof Custom and Shinanju. So between those two, I'll put Shinanju because I'm biased towards red.
Okay. That's fair. I actually wanted that Shinanju kit for a really long time because it came out during the second OVA of Gundam Unicorn, and they really sold me on the Shinanju. I thought the Shinanju performed amazingly in that episode, and I was like blown away by how cool the Shinanju was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, very, very close contender for me. I also agree that Shinanju is a good pick.
All right, next.
Okay, next
we have
would
a huge
be
list. about 10 years, man.
Okay, we might have to break this up into parts.
We
Okay.
definitely have to. All right,
Yeah.
2012.
So 2012, let's get all the good stuff out first. So 2012 is season 2 of Gundam Age. So I think this is where like a lot of our money probably went as well. So we have the H2 normal, the Dorado, ZSR, the Adele, G Bouncer, Zadra, Genuis 2, H2 double bullet, the Shaldal custom, the Adele Diva colors, the Farsha, the H3 normal, the Denizine, the Giraga, H2 Dark Hound, the G-Exis Jack Edge, the H3 Orbital, the Gundam FX, or Age FX, the Clanch, the Legolas, the G3 Fortress, the Clanch Custom, and that is the last one. So that's actually a very healthy list of kits that came out in 2012. Way healthier than I was expecting, to be honest. That they cranked those things out. Holy crap. And then on the HGUC side, we have the Banshee Destroy mode, the Banshee Unicorn mode, Delta Gundam, Zaku 1 Sniper type, the Marasai, Joagu, Nemo, Anksha, Rizel Type C, Zaku Mariner, the Base Jabber, the Hammurabi, the Jim Sniper 2, I always butcher this, the Barlunt custom, the Gundam Delta Kai, and the Rosenzulu. Yeah. So I think I have my choice. I know I didn't buy any of it. Yeah, I'll go first. I didn't buy any of these HGUCs. I thought they were all super cool in animation, but I thought that each one had some sort of problem for me as an early builder. Like, for example, they either didn't have great articulation, kind of like the Banshee, but it had really cool psycho frame. Or it could transform, but it was very expensive, like the Delta Gundam. Or it was really huge and bulky, kind of like this Rizel Type C. So that means it couldn't really move that much. And then the HGUCs tended to be just like higher in price point than I was really expecting. So like the Brilliant Custom would be like 2,600 yen. You had the Delta Gundam at like 4,200 yen. And so I naturally slid over to the Age kits, which I found much more appealing. And I actually have 3 of the kits that were released in 2012. So I have the double bullet personally. Personally, I have the Age FX and the Legolas. And my brother, or actually I do have the Clanch custom, but I bought that maybe 6 years after 2012.
I see. Okay, so
yeah,
I would not. Okay, you go first.
But my brother bought the H2 normal and he has the G Bouncer as well. So we both bought a lot of kits from 2012, specifically from the Age line. And I think my pick would personally be the Gundam Age FX. I thought it was a really good price point. It had the same articulation as the Age 1. It had a core fighter. And then you had the fin funnels that you can equip on a specialized base that was provided with the kit. Oh, and then all of the kits actually from Age, I think, actually has action bases with them. So that's like a really great deal for the price points that you're kind of paying for in comparison to the high-grade HGUC line. So for 2012, my pick is the Age FX.
I would say this is actually a pretty hard year. I also bought a lot of these. Normally, I would probably pick H2. But if I had to pick something that's not of Gundam, just to be a little bit fair, I think I'll give it to either the G Bouncer or the Clanch Custom.
Those are the
reason. Picks. The reason is for a I think the Clanch Custom is actually a pretty unique design. It's very slim lined, and the visor is pretty cool. So I think overall it's actually a pretty good design. Like if I had to pick between the G Bouncer and, oh man, that's rough. Because the G Bouncer is a really nice kit too. But I think from a uniqueness perspective, I'll have to give it to the Clench Custom.
I think the Clench Custom is a really good kit too, because so my problem is that I really like the double bullet, but I thought that the double bullet looks stupid in its transformation state. So what I did was I hoped that because of the modularity with these kits that I could get the Clench Custom that looked really cool and had the double bullet kind of like fin things and like the cannons on its arms, that I could slap that onto the double bullet, and then I could stick the gun onto into the centerpiece, so it actually kind of looks like a plane instead of like a flying block.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked really well. I think that the Clench Custom kind of fills that nice gap. And so if you can actually buy the double bullet and the Clench Custom together, then I think it's a great marriage. But if you're not able to.
For 2012, you have HFX and I have Clench Custom with HG.
I agree with
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with those.
I would say HFX, and also HFX will probably be my top 5 from this list.
Yeah. I mean, if we're doing a top 5, then I'm.
This is gonna take forever. No, man. Just pick one. Again, you can only buy one per year.
If you can only buy one model kit, one grade per year, then that would be my pick for that year. All right, so let's move on to
2013.
Yeah, 2013. So HGUC line. We're gonna assume that there's kind of nothing of interest again. Oh, actually, there's something. So there's the Nemo, the Zaku 2, Black Tri-Stars custom. So I think this is when they tried to redo the high mobility types and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So you had a bunch of these iterations. So you have the Jessa Cannon, the Shin Matsunaga Zaku 2. Then you have the Banshee Norn. Mm-hmm. You have the Easy 8-0. And then you have the Full Armor Unicorn Gundam, Masala, Base Jabber, Ubura Tetra, Dovin Wolf, Zogok. So the one from episode 4.
I'm going to take just based on this list.
Yeah, Wing Gundam, Gundam Double X, Nemo, Victory Gundam, Johnny Rin Zaku 2, and then the Gundam F91. And so this is when with the Wing Gundam, this is when they started to do the All Gundam project.
Yeah.
So I think 2013. That's when Build Fighters came out.
Yep.
I think. Or getting close to it. So for 2013, on the Age side, we have FX Burst Mode, Shaldal Rogue, G Cyphos, and then the Age 1 full Glanza. So that's kind of tough. Let me see here. 2013 should be. Shoot, where is this? Build Fighters. Build Custom Build Fighters. First introduced in 2013. The Build Fighters line, we have the Build Strike Gundam full package, the Zaku Amazing, Gundam X Mao, Build Gundam Mark II, Bear Guy, and Wing Gundam Fenice, and the Sengoku Astray Gundam. So,
oh god, it's such a hard list.
Whew, okay, so I passed that one because I didn't buy anything from this year from Build Fighters.
I bought majority of them. This is what happened. This is what happened when you have an extra disposable income that you don't know where to throw, and you just buy junk.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So this is also the year that we started the club. So
that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So we also had the hype going for this as well, and Gundam Unicorn. So I will let you go first because I need time to think as well.
This one is rough. I don't think I'll pick anything from from age anymore because I think those are just all towards the end of age anyways. I would say, oh man, from HGU, from the HGUC line or the H. Whew, rough. This is rough.
Yeah, this is hard. This is a fun game though. I like this, Dennis.
I would say from age, I never built Fenice, but from all the designs that we have so far. Oh wait, no, Starburst is 2014. Okay, so that's fine. I would say I'll probably pick the Wing Gundam Fenice, and then from the normal HG line, I will probably pick I'll probably pick the Double X.
The Double X. Okay. Do you still have that Double X?
I believe I do. It's somewhere.
Okay.
It's somewhere. You built that one, I remember. I think I bought it and I just told you. Yeah, and then we had a sweatshop, so you just build it.
Yeah.
I always liked the Victory Gundam, but I think that the HG Victory Gundam, I never built one, so I don't have too much attachment to it. So personally, I have a lot of attachment to Double X because Double X was my first Gunpla ever. So seeing them bring that back and then in a better construction, better engineering in a smaller form, it just like stole my heart. If I had to pick one, it's gonna be the Double X.
Okay, so it's literally the same reason.
It's more emotional.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's the same thing for me. It's the Wing Gundam. So the Wing Gundam was it was the first kit I ever purchased growing up. And when I saw it like being the front runner for the All Gundam project, I was like, well, there are many reasons why I should pick this kit up. It's cheap. It looks really good. The proportions are awesome. Everyone's talking about it. It's the head of the All Gundam project. And, and
the build is pretty good.
Yeah, the only thing that I was kind of reluctant to get was that I don't really like buying duplicates of designs. Once I have a design, I'm not going to get another one. I'll try my best not to get it again. And I already have this now in an MSIA. I have this in the old 1/144th scale. I now have this iteration of the Wing Gundam. And I think I also have a speed grade somewhere in my... So there's no way... it doesn't matter what happens anymore. I don't think I'm going to try to buy any more Wing Gundams. And this includes in different grades.
If I go to your room and then take all of that away, then you're forced to buy some.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'll buy I'll buy one version of... Yeah, I'll buy some sort of Wing Gundam. But just like nothing else, I think everything else kind of appealed to me a little bit. But I think this was towards my age in collecting, where I realized that if you buy something from the very get-go, you'll regret it because they're going to come out with an upgrade later. So I think what my plan was I was going to wait until after the series was over to figure out like what all the upgrade suits were, and then I would buy something from this set. But actually, I bought a lot of stuff from Build Fighters, just not the suits. I bought a lot of weapon packs. So I think I bought the Amazing Zaku weapon pack. I bought the Build Fighter Build Strike weapon pack. I think I bought the Camp for Amazing weapon pack.
They have a lot of very good stuff. I also think that they're discontinued, which is a shame. And if you try to, I think if you go on eBay and try to actually buy one, they're like at least 3 times the cost. Like they cost like $15 to $20 each.
Really? That's so sad because they were really cool, and I'm actually glad that I bought all of them up like while I had the chance to. But now I just have this like giant box of parts that I just use for like customs and stuff. Because I guess that's what it's really for, right?
Well, that was actually easier than I thought. So 2004. So for 2013, Steven has Wing Gundam HGAW, and then I have the double X. 2014 it is.
Nice. Okay, so let's double check because I think we missed some. I mean, like it doesn't really affect us too much, but for 2011, there was these kits: the Forever Gundam, the Beginning 30th Gundam, and the Beginning D and J.
No, that's gonna affect my.
Okay, the Forever Gundam was actually really cool because it was basically a G30th that came with extra stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the gimmick about it. I thought it was really cool. Actually, Victor bought a lot of stuff from this line, like a lot of stuff from this line. And then the Beginning 30th Gundam looks like a literal toy, but it has so many effect parts that
there
I was actually
parts, right? I remember a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I bought it. I don't regret it. I bought it, but it looks like a freaking toy, like a bargain bin freaking toy. Like because none of the colors work, man. Like you got white, and you got like turquoise blue, then you got like really bright red, and then you have green, and then the V fin is also like a neon yellow. So everything is just bright, like very, very toy bright. So
yeah, I think this is also the year where Bandai wanted to do diverse outside, like where they're trying to create a series that's more geared towards popularizing model building Gunpla. That's why they made that series. So you can almost say that it's a precursor of the Build Fighters.
Oh, it's most definitely a precursor.
I think it was cute, but at the same time, I'm like, man, did they hire some interns to design these? These are terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because it's the precursor, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is like a really cool concept. It was the first concept that they had. I was like, yeah, I'll buy this kit, to immortalize that time when I watched this, and I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting and really cool. And then they had this like full-blown series, and I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting this for some reason. But yeah, let's check 2014, double check. Should have been doing this. Oh, so Reconquista in G technically started in 2014. I remember that it was not something that I was particularly fond of.
Yeah, the design is very controversial. You either like it or you hate it.
Yeah, so let's go through these first.
Good Lord, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think I bought the perfect pack and I sold it.
Oh, really? That was actually one of the first kits that Sunny and I built together. The perfect pack.
That's cute.
Yeah. I actually like the perfect pack, but I don't love it, if that makes sense.
The design, I think all the suits in this, I think all of the suits in this series are very unique. I like it has more curves and it's more organic designs. I think if I had picked something from here, it's probably gonna be the Grimoire. I think it's the most unique design overall. All the other ones kind of just like whatever, right? Like I don't like the Gundam G Self design at all. I just don't like it. I mean, I wouldn't pick any because
I think I didn't pick anything from this year from Reconquista and G, but I did have an affinity towards the G Arcane. I thought the design was kind of interesting, and I thought it came with really cool effect parts. And I thought it was neat that it could transform in the model kit, but I don't think it ever really did in the show that much.
The G Arcane is kind of like the GN Archer.
Kind of, yeah. I just thought that the proportions for the hands were kind of weird. I didn't really appreciate that. And then, I mean, like, it was also a higher price point, and I wish that you could transform it without the part swapping. If you could transform it without the part swapping, it would have been an insta-buy for me.
Yeah.
But now kind of going to HGUC territory with the 2014. Actually, let's go back to Build Fighters.
Yeah, I think that will be a very easy one for me to pick.
Yeah.
So 2014.
So we had Camp for Amazing, Build Strike, Star Build Strike. We had the Camp for the Gym Sniper K9, the Quibbly Papillon, the Miss Sazabi, the Gundam Exia Dark Matter, Crossbone Mao, Goof R35, the Amazing Exia Fenice Renacita.
I already know which one I'm gonna pick from this list.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's go. If I had to pick something from there, well, I guess let's go through the HGUC normal HG lists.
So HGUC would be the Harrison's F91 V2, Silver Bullet, Strike Gundam, Drayson Dovin Wolf. This is the regular Double Zeta version. Wing Zero, Banshee Norn Destroy Mode, Strike Rouge, Turn A, Full Armor Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode, Kshatriya Repaired, Zaza, and there's more. Neo Zeong, Zeta Plus A1, the Shrom Gallus. I butchered that one. Gundam Airmaster. Dang, there's a lot of kits that came out this year. Rosen Zulu.
It is the year where they ended episode 7.
Yeah.
So, and they also ended Build Fighter.
Yeah. So
Crossbone
X1. C2.
Here, you go first. I don't want to go first.
You don't want to go first. Okay. Let me double check these and see which kits I actually do I own. Okay, so someone gave me an Amazing Exia. I thought it was cool.
What is using the old Exia frame, right? Like So that's the stupid part is like they're not using the Exia Repair 2.
Oh no, they are using that one. They're using the Repair 2 one.
Really?
The Repair 2 mold. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let me see here. It is a little bit better, but not by much. So like when you go to Age, right, and then you go back to this, it's a sturdy kit, but it can't really do everything that you want it to. It can be show accurate, but it can't do everything that you would want, like all the different poses and stuff. So that one's a little bit tough. But I don't think I would ultimately choose anything from this list. And then Reconquista G, that was the wrong one. Reconquista G, I don't think there's anything that I would choose from this list either. Mm-hmm. 2014, yeah, there's nothing that like sparked that joy from me. So, but for the HGUC line, there was a lot that caught my attention. I think every one of these caught my attention in some way, shape, or form. But because
only if you have the money to buy all of them.
Yeah, right. But I didn't buy all of them.
Which is good.
I know. Yeah. I knew that the Rosen Zulu was good because the original Rosen Zulu had a god awful color scheme. I thought the Airmaster was really cool because I already had the double X, or I already had the X. X1 Crossbone I thought was really neat because it's the Crossbone. I never had a Crossbone, but I knew that a Real Grey was going to come out for this. So I held back on buying that. The A1 I thought was really cool. It was just like a very militaristic looking Zeta Gundam, but you had the parts form it, and then the price point, $24 for that, just didn't really seem worth it to me.
You're also buying. I think some of these are more expensive because it is a larger model. So
actually, the Zeta is not. It's not that much larger because a friend of mine bought it because he really liked planes, and he built it with me. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't feel like $24 justifies the cost of this kit.
It's larger compared to a Gundam wing model, right? And also
it is, compared to a Gundam wing model. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get like a little bit more plastic, but you have stuff like the Turn A that was really interesting. This is the first kit from the correct century. I hear really good things about this kit, all the time. Full Armor Unicorn Gundam, you would think that I would be a sucker for that, but then, real grade.
Yeah, so this is the person who has like all of the majority of the unicorn from HG to perfect grade.
Yeah. But I think out of all these, it's going to sound really weird, but this is more of like lore that's kind of influencing me. The Silver Bullet. So I think I really thought that this was a cool kit because it had a master grade size to it for a very low price point. So this is actually cheaper than the transformable Zeta Gundam, the A1 Zeta. So it's cheaper than that, but it's bigger than that, and it has more accessories. So you had like Xeon type of equipment combined with Federation type equipment. And then
was it based off of the Dogen Wolf?
Yeah, so it's based off of the Doven Wolf, but then they stuck like Federation parts onto it, and it has a really nice color scheme. So I think this was around the time where there was a huge debate in the group, like whether or not you're Federation or Xeon. And I thought that the Silver Bullet was like a very nice, like middle, peaceful, neutral ground that I can be like, oh, well, I have this kit that's like kind of from both sides, and we can all live happy.
It's like they got married and then they had a baby.
Right, yeah.
Had an abomination.
Exactly. And then I thought that was kind of cool that they put it in Gundam UC, but then it totally got trashed by the Neo Zeon, so I wasn't very happy about that.
Yeah. It showed up for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
At a screen time 2 minutes or less.
I think that the Strike Gundam was also kind of like a really good contender too, for the same reasons as the Wing Gundam. I think that the Strike Gundam really needed an upgrade, and this is honestly a very, very good model kit. I built this. I think I built this one for Linda before, and I have no complaints with this kit. It's actually a very fantastic kit. Everything's color accurate. It builds really well. It can do everything that you want it to do. The proportions look amazing. It looks good in flight forms. It can do like really cool kneeling poses. You can obviously tell I'm a Seed fan. But yeah, I think I still got to give the edge for this year if I was to buy one thing. Just because, this falls victim to the real grade syndrome, right? Like anything that's going to be a main suit is going to get an upgrade later on in life. But if you look at kind of like these more obscure suits, like once you get them, that's probably the only chance that you have to get them because you'll never see it again, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree.
But yeah, what's your choice, man?
Oh, so your choice is the Silver Bullet?
Yeah, 2014 right. Silver Bullet.
Mine is between the F91, the blue version, Harrison, and the Star Bill Strike.
Okay, both of those are very good kits, and a lot of people really like them.
I will have to give it to Star Bill Strike because it got wings and stuff.
Yeah, it's actually a really good kit.
I have a high affinity for sparkly and shiny and very angel-like stuff.
Wingling things? Okay.
Yeah, that's why like Win Zero Custom is probably my all-time favorite.
Yeah. So very funny stuff. In our regular podcast, there's actually a person there that absolutely hates angel wings. So anytime we want to tick him off, we'll just bring up Wing Zero and how it's canon. And yeah, it just bugs the crap out of him.
Okay, I'm gonna have to give it to a Star Bill Strike.
Star Bill
because
Strike. All
yeah,
right.
I think for its price, and I normally don't talk about price. If I had to pick between this and also the F91, the Harrison version, this one is like the cost performance is way better.
It
You just get
is. Yeah.
around
You
like
get so
it's
much
like
more
three
bang for
dollars
your
more.
buck. Right. Yeah.
All right. So for 2014, we have for Steven is Silver Bullet, and then for me is Star Bill Strike. That's a
Yeah.
that's a good one. All right. So
Yeah.
we're approaching the midpoint here. How about we'll do a part two for 2016 and beyond for next time, and maybe what we'll do is that we'll prepare the list and then we'll just say, all right, you go first and I go first, and then we'll explain why.
Dude, I'm actually pretty down for that. That'll give me something to do for the rest of the night.
I think like everyone's like, shut up, dude. Shut up,
Yeah.
guys. So we don't need to read through this entire thing. God
Okay.
damn it.
Sounds good. Yeah, because this is a trip down memory lane, man. Like, these are the kits that like define the early days of our club. And so I remember seeing these like all the time. Like, everybody was always talking about and then like I didn't realize like the sheer number of high grades that were released these years. And you still see them on store shelves like a lot of the time.
Yeah,
that's
these
like
are very
the crazy
popular.
part.
Yeah, very popular kits.
Yeah.
Let's go to 2015.
All right, cool. I thought we were going to end the podcast because I didn't realize we had another year left. But
by the way,
let's.
I have to give a contender that for the Star Bill Strike. I'll probably give it to Turn A. I never built one, but I think that it is always a very unique kit. And I mean, maybe I'll build one and then buy one and build it and then like change my thoughts afterwards. I'll change my list.
I'm actually I'm waiting for the real grade because I know the real grade's going to be amazing. I'm not even going to bother.
Dude.
Yeah, don't even bother with the high grade. Just get the real grade.
Have you ever built a master grade?
No.
So the master grade was for the 100th master grade project. Everyone's like, I think back then everyone was like, why is it Turn A? I was like, because it's underrated. I had like freaking Mustache, Mr. Mustache, right? Mustache them. But like I bought it, I built it. I was like, wow, this is actually very cool. And then this is when they started to add a lot of panel lines onto the model kit. And and the Turn A is actually perfect for that because there's a lot of details.
Right.
I don't know where it is now, so it's probably sitting in the garage somewhere.
Okay, so this is going to be a little difficult because...
Oh, good Lord.
All right.
Because we're adding in the origin.
We have to add in the origin. We're adding in Iron Blood Orphans. And I'm certain that... Oh, there we go. We were not done with 2014. I'm sorry. That's my fault. So there's Build Burning.
Only like 5 kits here.
No.
So there's
a lot. There's Build Burning Gundam. There's the Power Gym Cardigan, Lightning Gundam, Easy SR, Bear Guy F, Winning Gundam, Argyagya, Mega Shiki.
The only one that I will pick from here is probably the Build Burning from this list. But if I have to compare the Build Burning versus the Star Bill Strike, I think it's better.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I think for me, I probably would have preferred the Silver Bullet instead of the Build Burning Gundam as well.
And Build Fighter Try, I think it's a interesting spin-off of the original. I don't really see any kid that's from that series that's really eye-catching. I also think that it is not as good of a series compared to Build Fighters. So I don't have too much attachment to it.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly with that statement. I don't think there's anything that I bought from from Try, except for the Build Burning Gundam. And I think it's because you found it for really cheap in Asia. That's honestly like the only reason.
I think I have the Bill Burning. I have the Denial Gundam because it's just, again, shining effect parts. That's purple.
Right.
All right.
Wow. So 2015 was actually a pretty good year because you had Iron Blood Orphans, you had Origin come out, then you also had Reconquista G finishing up. I can't believe this is all 2015. And then you had HGUC cranking out their regular stuff.
Good
and
Lord.
Then you had Tri finishing up. So, wow, they really upped the ante. It's actually kind of nice to go through all this stuff because I didn't realize how much stuff came out. So let's go. 2015 Tri. So we had the Amazing Red Warrior, High Mach, Tri Burning Gundam, Star Winning Gundam, Gundam Portent, the SDG Gundam, Transient Gundam, Gundam X1 Full Cloth, Gundam the End, the Denial Gundam, Tryon 3, Dom R35, Lightning Zeta Gundam, Kurenai Musha Red Warrior Amazing, Leopard Da Vinci, Kamaki Burning Gundam, and the Super Fumina.
Super Fumina, dude.
Of course.
I'm just kidding.
Obviously. Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding. You know
I know. Yeah, I know a lot of people are either choosing Super Fumina or like Gundam Tryon 3, but those are the two kits that I can't stand. I don't like them. I'm not a fan.
So over here, I would say it's actually a little bit difficult because I do think that the full cloth is actually a very good value, in my opinion. And then you have I think the Tri-Burning Gundam. Tri-Burning Gundam is also a good one if you're looking for effect parts.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Denial. And then I always had a thing for the Transient Gundam. I thought that would look really cool. I like the blue and the white combination look really good to me.
What's up? Can you go up? Yeah.
There's also the amazing Red Warrior, man. I mean, just built that kit.
Yeah, we built that kit.
Yeah.
So
I actually really liked it.
Yeah, so the history behind this kit is I bought it for like 4 years, and then we finished it about like, what was it? Probably the end of last year.
Yeah, like last year.
Or the beginning of this year. All right, so that's that. I think from here, Amazing Red Warrior, man. That would be the contender from this list.
Okay. I think for specifically this list, I'd probably pick the Amazing Red Warrior as well. Because I was a big fan of the just Red Warrior. I thought it was a really cool, Char Gundam story kind of to it. But between that and the Transient, I guess just to be a little bit different, I'd probably choose the Transient from this list. It's basically the Amazing Red Warrior just with a different color scheme, in my opinion, and effect parts. Because the Amazing Red Warrior doesn't have any effect parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you like the effect parts, I guess it also includes a custom action base. But but both of them don't really have like anything that's that original, right? They don't bring like anything new to the table. It's just they look cool. Yep. That's it. They're just kind of milking the traditional design. So, all right, that would be my pick from that specific list. But let's see how they stack up. So 2015, we have the Victory Dash, the Victory 2 Assault Buster, the Gun Cannon, the Gundam Revive version, Freedom, Mark II, another Mark II, and Equibly. So actually, they didn't really do too much HGUC, and that's when they started the Revive line.
Right.
So I think from this list, I would probably stick with the Gundam just because of its low price point and how iconic this specific model kit has been over the last like 5 years. Like pretty much any time somebody wants to start the hobby, this kit gets brought up all the time. And but between this and the Transient, I might actually pick this one. I think this lower price point really appeals to me, the $10 price point compared to the $1,800 price point. This is almost double, so you're paying like $8 just for the effect parts, in my opinion.
You're paying for a very big staff or Trident and then some effect parts.
Yeah, and I don't think the $8 justifies that. So, you know, going through this list, I probably would change it to Gundam Revive version.
They also redesigned, they also re-engineered like all the construction on this one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
right?
So it has the same level of articulation as like the Age suits or like the new Transient Gundam or like the Build Burning and stuff like that. So it can do the last shooting pose, has 180 bends on its elbows and knees. Head's really well articulated. You get the bazooka, the shield, the beam rifle, and beam sabers.
Oh,
and then you also have this one does not
no.
come with the javelin. Yeah, so you get the javelin and the hammer separately. But for $10, you get a lot. Like, I think you get a pretty good amount of stuff. I would say that the Freedom Gundam is, I mean, all of these revives are definitely up there, but the Freedom Gundam is also a really good kit. But just because this one's $7 more, like I'll kind of have to give the edge to the RX-78.
I never built the HG version of the Seed series, so I wouldn't know.
They're terrible.
Oh, really? From before?
Yeah,
so
I have the
good.
So I have the Freedom and the Strike Gundam from that, the very old ones, like from 2002, 2003.
Oh yeah, those are terrible.
Yeah, they're absolutely terrible.
I built the 1/100 one. Basically, it's just a bigger version. You're paying for more plastic.
Yeah.
Nice. So, I don't know what I would choose from here. Let's go through the origin list. So currently my pick will still be the Amazing Red Warrior.
Yeah, actually, let's go through this one.
Oh
this
God,
really
man,
quick.
Come on, dude. You know that, dude.
Yeah, we got it. We got to check it though. I mean, so we got Space Type, Elf Bullock, Gion. Jeez, I don't even know how to pronounce half of these. Mac Knife, G Lucifer, G Self Assault Pack, Catsith, Dahak, Gastima, Kawakali, Perfect Pack. Okay, we're done.
If I pick something, will probably be a Perfect Pack. But it also has a lot of stickers, which is kind of annoying. I know there are some unique designs from here, but I don't know the series enough for me to make any decisions.
I think for me, I would then change, because of that list, from the Gundam, just because this is like, so you brought up this before, that the Gundam will always be recreated every single time. Like, so if you had a choice to get it like 1 year, don't. Because
don't do it. I mean, just think about like how many Gundams did they release?
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's actually a very good reason to not get this if you're like at the level of fandom that we are, because like they'll always produce Gundam model kits, like specifically the RX-78-2 Gundam model kits, as long as we're a part of the hobby.
Yeah, as a granddaddy.
So just wait it out. Wait it out until you can find a really good deal. Like, I don't know, $5.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually coming out with like an $8 entry grade kit that I'm very interested in.
Yeah. I think the construction is very unique. And I think that it is meant to even, I like they call it entry grade. Basically, it's like, here, we're going to dumb it down so much that you can't F it up.
Pretty much, yeah. And I'm thinking about picking up one just to see what it's like. Because, it's really cool. And so with that in mind, I would probably not get this. But at the time, this did look very appealing to me. But if I had the choice between the Perfect Pack or that, I know that the Perfect Pack is going to be one of those kits that just will not be on store shelves. Because I remember that when I saw the Perfect Pack, that was around the time when Age was was phasing out, and I didn't see the FX on shelves anymore. I mean, even now it's kind of hard for you to find age kits. And so I always thought that if you saw like a design, a very unique design that people are saying like, about, you should pick it up. Because if you don't, you won't see it anymore. Yeah. So that's why I picked up a Perfect Pack. And now I'm not really seeing it as much anymore. I also had eyes on the Gastima because I thought that if you custom painted it, it had a really cool beam saber. It
Can
wouldn't
you
look as bad.
click on that thing? Let me see. What's this design? Oh yeah, it's really weird.
It's a little weird, but it doesn't look all that different. Like if you modified it a little bit, like if I clipped off like it's these things here, I repainted it into like a different color scheme, I don't think it would look any different from like an Iron Blooded Orphans type of suit, right? So
I see that you can do a lot of yeah, it almost has like a little, what's that Gundam called? The one that has like dark blue. That starts with a V.
blue. Dark blue that starts with a V.
Yeah.
Dark blue starts with a V. Dark blue starts with a V.
Is
Dark blue Gundam.
Starts with a V.
Oh, Vargil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's the counterpart to the Moon Gundam.
No, I'm talking about Iron Blooded Orphan.
Oh, Vidar?
No. Yeah, Vidar. Yes.
Yeah, the Vidar.
The head design is a little bit similar, but yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That one, man. If they actually came out with like a better design or like a better grade, that would be very good.
I thought that this was actually a really cool design. The only thing that prevented me from buying it was the price point. So this thing was this was such a weird price. I thought it was 1,836 yen.
It's trolling you, dude.
Yeah, seriously. And I was like, I'm not going to pay close to $20 for a very simple looking suit. Like, I don't like it that much. But if I pay a little bit more, I can get a suit that is the main suit that's probably not going to get a real grade anytime soon because it doesn't even have a master grade yet. This is like the only way that you can get a G self currently. And, you know, 2,700 yen. Actually, I didn't buy it for this price. I waited for it to be on sale, and I think there was a store that was closing, and everything was 50% off. So I got a steal on that. But yeah, so for me it would be G Self Perfect Pack. All right, let's go into the good stuff. The Origin. Sorry, Riken Gisenji. But Sharzaku 2, Gun Tank, Early Type, High Mobility, MASH Custom, Ortega Custom, Mobile Worker, the WAF Saku 1, Gun Cannon. Oh, I think we skipped a couple. So it was actually just up to Mobile Worker. So Sharzaku. What's up?
Did they skip like a full year of releasing the Origin? Yeah,
because remember it was kind of like Unicorn, where each one came out 1 year.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Never built Zaku, but I know that the Zaku for the Origin was also immensely redesigned.
It was very good.
Yeah, I would have gotten this one from this year. So it's going to be between the Zaku and the Amazing Red Warrior. Because I have the Amazing Red Warrior, I will pick that one. But in terms of, because I never had a Zaku, I'll probably pick the Zaku, man. You know, I'll probably pick the Zaku because I think that it's like a revived version, is improved version of the original design. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But in terms of uniqueness, it's definitely going to be the Amazing Red Warrior. It's hard. It's hard. It's between those two. As you can see, they're both red.
Yes.
All right. What is your
for me?
final
It would be the
decision?
Zaku. It's
You?
a Zaku. Yep.
No, I'm
Because
talking about, go ahead.
so for me, I picked the Zaku Gaia Mash Custom. So actually, out of this year, this actually is a kit that I bought that year. And I was very happy about it. I was very excited about this because you normally don't see, so I think this was around the time where I did an analysis of like, what is the best Zaku that you can get for your price point? And this was the one that won out, even though it was about $20 for the model kit. So it was a little pricey, but it came with so much stuff. So you had 2 shields, you had the ability to make it into, you had a long sniper rifle, you had a bazooka, machine gun, 2 heat hawks, and then you also had the spike. The spike shield as well. So you basically got Char Zaku 2, but then you got an extra shield on the side. So for, you can make any iteration of the Zaku that you really wanted to, and you got the commander's fin and you got the regular fin as well.
It's painted red on the. Just painted red. It Char Zaku.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was like, this is really cool, and it had more detail because it was a high mobility type.
Right.
So you also had all the great level of articulation. You had really interesting ways how they constructed the waist area with the piping. And so I was like, yeah, man, like this is definitely a fantastic buy, and I have more affinity towards a Zaku design than I do for the Perfect Pack design. So yeah, because it's the main suit, right? It's most likely going to get a real grade form. So if I don't get this version, I'll just get the real grade version.
I don't think Delve is going to get a real grade. Come on, man. Let's be honest.
If we're honest, they'll get a real grade. It's coming. We'll be like dead by the time it happens, but you'll get it.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. Then I'll just never get it.
Oh God, dude! There's Iron-Blooded Orphan. Jesus.
This is also that's also the Iron-Blooded Orphans here. So we're not done. We're not done.
Whose goddamn idea was this? Jesus.
Yeah. So currently my pick is still the Zaku. Like out of all the lists, like it kind of grew, but I think that's where it ends. Maybe. So we have the Barbados, the Grey's standard commander type, McGillis Schwalbe Greys, the Grey's custom. We have the Hyakuri, the Hyakuren, and the Barbados long distance transport type Kutan type 3. Oh no, we have the Man Rodi, the Gundam Gyushin, Amida's Hyakuren, and that's it. That's for 2015. So I did also buy something from this list as well. So this was a hard year. This was a difficult year to not buy model kits. Not gonna lie.
Oh man. So I bought some kits from here. I actually only bought one, the Barbados, and then never built it. So I sold it, so I wouldn't know what it is. I know that it is a unique design from like deviating from the original HG design, just because the Iron-Blooded Orphans is just so different, right? Like the construction, the design itself is so different, so they have to deviate away from the normal design approach. So I don't know. I don't think I'll pick anything from here. But if I had to pick something, it's probably the Greys commander type. I actually always like the Greys. Washington, I think it's a pretty cool grunt suit. Yeah, that's probably what I would pick. But between this versus the the Amazing Red Warrior and the Charged Zaku, I don't think I'll pick this. But if I had to pick from this list, it's going to be the Grays, Commander type or Standard type.
Yeah, so that's what I would pick too. I actually really liked. So the main gimmick behind these is that they have an inner frame.
Right.
Yeah, so the Grays and the Gundam types, they all have inner frames. And that was a really huge draw to me because I was like, for $10, right? I could buy 2 Grayses for the same price as this Zaku, right? I could get one that had just its armor stripped off, and I can have one with its armor on. I could have poses and I could have like dioramas just from the same cost as this Zaku. And that tore me because these are such great kits. The only thing that's really I don't think that's really great about the Grays is that its feet are like high heels, and so they don't really look great in standing poses. But and actually the way that the joints are kind of set up, they get loose very quickly.
So I don't know. I never built one before, so I wouldn't know. But I did hear about after a while they just like, they just flop around.
Yeah,
right?
they get really floppy really fast. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Actually, it's the same thing for a lot of these kits too. My Zaku also kind of gets the same way. So just to let you know, this and the Grays that I have are both painted, and they still get a little bit floppy. The
super glue them together.
Yeah, pretty much. The G Self is the only one that isn't floppy, but it's also the only one I don't play with. I don't even touch. So yeah, I think it's kind of tough.
Down the list. Vision from this year.
From this year, I think I'm gonna have to give it to the Zaku if I had to buy one. Yeah, if I had to buy one, the high mobility type, the Gaia Mash custom. That's what I would choose.
Oh man, for me it's gonna be rough. It's tough. Oh shoot, I almost fell off. Oh.
Yeah.
No one saw that. Let's cut that off, dude. Let's cut it off.
Edit in post.
Damn, it's hard. I think I would still give it to the Amazing Red Warrior. Not just because it's such a, like, I think Meijin Kawaguchi is such a cool character. Like if I had to, I mean, I like Charles too because like big fan of Charles, but
yeah,
but I think I think that it is the character that is from the Build Fighter series that I don't know, I think ascended, just like ascended as what was his name? The main character from Build Fighters. What was his name? Yeah.
Iori?
Yeah. Sei, and also, Sei. So you just look at that, I'm like, man, like I did not like majority of the characters from Build Fighter Tri. So I think that if I have any emotional attachment, it's probably to Meiji. That's it.
You meant like Sekai. You didn't like Sekai.
No, he's annoying as hell.
Oh yeah, okay.
He is annoying as hell. Like I would say, the second person. Oh man, I don't even know. I didn't even know who I like. I just didn't like that series. That series. I mean, like, it is also part of the reason why I don't watch like the Diver series. Right? Like, even though I know they have no connection with each other, I'm just like, what the hell are you guys doing with Gundam series? Right? Like, just It's like, I know that you're trying to appease like a, like I know that you're trying to please a greater audience, but I'm just like, oh my God, what is this like? So many fan services. You already know what I'm talking about.
Kinda, yeah. I think though that if you've not watched Re-Rise, you should still give it a shot because it actually has been very well received by American audiences. But
what does that mean, man? What does that mean by American audience?
It's very story driven.
Okay.
It's not as pandering as Gundam Build Fighters Try was. It wasn't blatant. And all the, like the way you feel about the Sazabi, right? Like you don't buy the kit because they told you the kit is cool and you need to go and buy it. But you bought it because you thought that Char was really cool. Or like for the Amazing Red Warrior, like you bought it because you thought Meiji Kawaguchi was really cool.
Yep.
And so that's why there's been really great model kit success for Gundam Build Fighters Re-Rise or Divers Re-Rise, because the characters themselves are actually really cool. Like you feel for them, you feel attached to them. And that's the reason why you want to go and buy their stuff. So if you're just looking for a good story, then I think it's great. I don't think I've bought anything from Divers yet. And I say yet because there's actually some really cool designs in it that I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, if I started Gundam, if I was like 5 years younger or 10 years younger, yeah, I'd definitely buy this stuff. But I think right now, just because I'm noticing the sheer volume of my collection and I'm doing a lot more customizations now than I have been before, there's really no reason for me to buy more stuff.
Hey man, if you want more kids, just let me know. I still have
God, no,
20-some kids at least. I mean, probably 30. Because that bluefin, sale that went with you, I increased that amount by at least 5.
What did you buy? I don't even remember what you bought.
Dude, I
bought a metal build.
$500 that day.
That's not that much, all things considered. Yeah, I spent money on it too, and but I
was
built
it
my kids.
$500?
No, it was not. Actually, I thought you spent more I thought you spent more than 500. Actually.
Oh yes.
Because you bought the 2 metal builds.
Right. Yeah, let's not talk about that, dude.
Yes. What did you buy? I don't even remember what you bought.
Because you're like, dude, this is really good. They don't sell them. Cool, I'll get it.
But you bought other stuff, and I don't remember what you got.
So I got RG Tallgeese, which is a P Bandai. And then I got the 2 metal build. One is a X1. The other one is the Strike Freedom.
Right, yeah. The Soul Blue version.
And I've got other stuff too. It's just like like everything adds up, but majority was the metal builds that also real quick.
I remember. You got this grab bag.
Oh yeah, that is, dude, that has so much value. I got a Goku, I got a Kid Goku edge figure art, Power Ranger, White Ranger. I got a Full Metal Panic Leviathan kit. What else? I forgot how to check, but I got the high res.
Oh, you got the God Gundam.
I got the God Gundam.
Wait, and you got the Red Frame Astray?
I'm not sure. Maybe I did. Again, it's one of those things without maybe. That's bad.
I don't remember anymore.
You're a bad influence.
Yeah.
You're a bad influence.
See, that's why we need to do this, the Frugal Builder podcast, where we just talk about ways to calm ourselves down from all the hype of Gunpla. Which is weird because I have another podcast that just hypes up Gunpla. So
that's annoying, man. Like people are like, which one should I listen to? I don't know. Steven, tell me what to do. You should not buy it. It's like freaking, the angel on the right and then the devil on the left. Like you don't know what to do, That's like, that's hard. I think that we should do this series. It's like your favorite, and then you just have to pick something. Like you can do so much. Like we're doing this with the HG. We can do this with the RG, obviously. So we'll just make it a lot shorter. So we'll prepare the list. We'll talk about why. Maybe something is related to the character itself rather than the kid itself. And then we can also do it like, series antagonist and protagonist. Oh, that one's going to be a fun one. I was going to be bashing on and also side characters. Your favorite side characters?
Favorite side characters? If I can even remember any side characters. Oh man,
there are a lot of good side characters, but I did not watch all of the Gundam series, so I wouldn't know.
For me, it's the same thing. There's so many series that I haven't watched. I only really know them because I've seen YouTube clips. That's pretty much it. So
yeah.
But yeah, this was pretty fun. I'm down to do more of these. So we can do a part 2 in a little
with
bit.
A pre-prepared list, so then no one has to go through the entire list with us. And then
unless you want to go through the list with us, that's totally fine. I mean, I don't. Who actually watches these, right? Like,
you gotta market these better. What? You gotta market these better.
That's okay. I think I'm trying to figure out the kinks of everything right now first. But thank you so much for joining Dennis on this podcast. So we'll be seeing everybody soon. So
absolutely. All right. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm tired after a full day of interviews. So thank you for having me. It was a great list. It's like hitting all those memory lanes. God, makes me want to cry. Oh man.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff.
Yes.
All right, and we'll catch everybody later.